Hello race fans and welcome to Racing Season 19 Points Tier Pre-Season Race around Brazil, Sao Paulo, brought to you by Next Level Racing, 3M Sim Racing, partnered with Vespertine and ERT. I'm your solo commentator tonight, Peter Nyden. My partner in crime, Mr. Sullivan Lewis, Speed Risky, is unavailable this week, which should be available next week. I, however, will not be available for round 1, as I am away at a karting event in Glasgow. Today we get to see our first look at the points tier drivers for season 19. 36 laps of Brazil, 2-stop strategy, and there's a lot of recognisable names I've got in my list of drivers. You can see them on screen, but I'm going to go through who have got what seat and whether everyone will be here in this pre-season race. So confirmed for Mercedes is Aaron J.S. He, however, has not got a teammate yet. We'll go for the drivers who are yet to be put into a team at the end. Red Bull are Gazerman and Trunders. They're both in the lobby, as you can see. In the McLarens, you've got Mason Jr. 54 and Hooky. They'll be pairing up in the McLarens. Aston Martin are the two ERT boys, Dexter and Jacko, as you can see, ready for pre-season in the Aston Martins. In the Alpine, we've got Prospect Season 18 runner-up Liam JHMC, teamed with Prospect third place driver Jake W. Combs. They'll be in Alpine for this season. Ferrari, O'Sully has got the confirmed seat in Ferrari. He is yet to find out his teammate. AlphaTauri has Liam 13 and Lawrence D. Alfa Romeo consists of Andreas and MCFC 2020. MCFC 2020 I recognise from Prospect last year. Haas has Rageman and an unconfirmed teammate. It's season 18 Prospect tier winner, driver's winner, but Kingen, he's back in the Williams, and this time he is teamed up with one of my own, recently signed to Team Speed Quinn, or Denny Quinn. He's also a commentator in One Hub as well. He commentated with me for one of the qualifying night sessions. If you missed them, be sure to check out One Hub's YouTube to catch up on what happened in qualifying night as we get ready for qualifying as the host readies up. Two drivers to be given a team. That includes Giggle and Zach Jarvis. Zach Jarvis I recognise again from Prospect last season. And one driver will be without a teammate come the start of the season unless a driver can be found that fits the points tier levels of pace, essentially. 12 drivers out of 19 essentially taking part in this pre-season race gives myself and you, the viewers, and everyone else that gets to tune in, especially the admins, get to find out whether they've chosen these drivers and put them in the right tier, see what their pace is like, and see whether we can pick out our drivers that are going to be fighting for the title. Ten drivers ready up, 20 seconds till we launch, and the show begins. But will it be wet? Will it be dry? Pretty sure either way it's 2-stop. In terms of strategy, as a driver and a lover of Brazil, the circuit, racing around, tyre wear is not that great. There is a chance that maybe pitting early will work, but with being able to pit on the safety car, if safety car does emerge or a VSC emerge, you manage to gain time, gain a pit stop, and that gives you a reason to extend your first stint only up to a point where you're not going to be losing time and going to get undercut by drivers who pit early. So one of our two Aston Martin boys, Dexter, ERT driver, has answered our pre-race questions. And I'm going to let you know what his thoughts are. So, welcome to season 19 of One Hub Racing. How are you feeling? He's feeling rusty. Haven't really played the game. So, this will be a good point for Dexter to put some practice in, see where his pace is, and show that Aston Martin can fight for the title. Has he enjoyed pre-season so far, and did you get the team you wanted? He got the team he wanted. Aston Martin was where he wanted to be. Good team, British Racing Green. No bias there. Now that you've seen who's in your tier, what are your expectations for the season? Hope for a top 5 and a Constructors' Championship. So he thinks he's got the pace to be challenging for a top 5. Very promising from Dexter, but he also thinks he's got confidence in his teammate of Jacko, who's not here racing. Giggle is in the Aston Martin this race, but that's not his seat confirmed for the season. How important is a pre-season race to get into the groove of things? Doesn't mean a thing. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, because of the different nature of the tracks, the weather conditions, the drivers turning up. Hopefully they can throw some spice into it, and even the guys that are missing this pre-season race can put some form in round 1. And what are your thoughts on F121 so far? Some good, some bad. So yeah, a lot of people complaining about the mechanics, the handling. We won't mention the handling after the kerfuffle of what happened, given the handling model compared to esports and the handling model we've got now. Really kills out league racing, and this is part of the community. Even though we're only PS4 or PS5, PlayStation, still show that there's some really good racing throughout all 5 tiers. So first across the line was Liam. I'm going to get all my nice lovely telemetry up and get the map on, see who's on the flyer, who's likely going to be finishing the lap. We know that Liam was coming down to the middle sector. We'll stay on board with Liam then. On medium tyres, few drivers getting the grips with the track, going for medium tyres. Maybe they can qualify an arm. It is soft, medium, soft. So maybe getting the mediums out of the way means you're on the fastest tyre for the rest of the Grand Prix. However, we don't know if it's going to be raining. I haven't been informed. I'll probably check in chat to see if there's any rain due. But if it's dry, 2-stop, soft, medium, soft. Or medium, soft, soft. If you can get inside the top 10 on mediums, which a lot of drivers think they can. There are only 12 runners, so it is a possibility. As our first time across the screen is by Liam 131 in the Alpha Tower. Is a 107.8 on mediums. As Giggle goes with a 108.8. Liam's about to finish his lap. Does he take provisional pole? He doesn't, but he is the quickest driver on mediums. 107.7. Kingdom season 18 prospect champion up to P2, but beaten by his prospect rival from last season, who was in the Mercedes, who joined late on. Could perform, could get points. He's in the Alfa Romeo now. A little bit of a downgrade, but there was an upgrade in pace and tier, and he's suited best for Alfa Romeo. Or maybe you chose it, maybe you wanted Alfa Romeo, but he's probably causing the yellow flags, getting out of people's way in sector 1, end of sector 1. 107.0 time to beat. Runners in the Red Bull, 107.1. Kingan knocked down now to 3rd, with Mason Jr. in the McLaren up to 4th. Time starting to come in quick and fast. Red Bull starting a rivalry already between the two drivers. Only 41 thousandths of a second between the two of them. No, 71 thousandths of a second between the two of them. And Gazaman got really close to being on provisional pole. Medium runners settling in. Rageman with a 107.9 and Giggle dropping down as the slowest driver on the mediums. O'Sully yet to set a time, but that's not him. I'm on board with a guy that's apparently in the pits, but it's not. Apparently it's Giggle. So that's amazing. There you go. Anyone else going for another lap? They will be starting on these tyres if they start inside the top 10. So it's got to be clinical that you don't wear out the tyres too much and they manage to last long enough in the race for where you need to switch over. All banker laps are in. Looks like Liam's going for one more flyer on these mediums. Hasn't got a lot of battery. Probably want to be saving it to the long straight. It does involve a corner, but it's a kink. I won't call it a corner. But will he improve? Let's see what his sector time split is. Is he up? Is he down? He's up by a tenth and a half. No TAS with us today, unfortunately. TAS will be returning for the full season, but no TAS for pre-season races. Liam's improving, but can it be enough to knock Mason off the third? Knock him down to the second half of the third row. Up to the line was an improvement, but it's not enough to jump Mason. 1/1000th of a second between him and Mason Jr. Colin's dad in 5th place. Liam fastest on the mediums, but he has put a bit of wear into him, bit of time. 3 laps on those mediums compared to Liam. It was only a tenth and a half slower. He was going for another run on mediums. Well, apparently he's not. He's on softs. He's on an out lap on softs. One of the first. Sully is behind him, I think. Yeah, Sully is behind him, and Giggle, I assume, is finishing a lap. We'll stay on while we Giggle, see if he can improve. He's got to find 8/10 to find a position. He doesn't. He decides to dive into the pits. So Liam was first on track for the second part of qualifying, essentially. Takes the tightest line on the run up to the pits, but swings it out to the far right hand side for turn 1. The centre S's, turn 1, 2, 3, essentially cover the difficult part of sector 1. Then there's a nice DRS straight down towards turn 4, heavy braking zone, purple first sector. Should be enough to maybe see us get into the 106s to improve. I noticed as well with Brazil on previous years of F1, especially the game build around this track, the track gets faster and faster and faster. This is a very good track for track evolution. The last person out on track will get the best track conditions as long as it stays completely dry. He's 7, nearly 8/10 up is Liam coming through the second sector. 1 sector to go. It was 1 braking zone and it's flat to the line. Will he stay close on the pit entry? He does. Hugs the wall. No, he decides to run wide. Hugging the wall is the shortest line, but up to the line he goes, and that is him into the 106's provisional pole. As O'Sully now crosses the line, gets into the 106's himself, but slow, only 42 thousandths off pole position, and just under a tenth quicker than Azonia. Mason Jr. finding some pace. The McLaren showing he's made for points here and not prospect. Only been in one hub, I believe, for 1 season, and now on the second row of the grid, almost into the 1:06 6s. But this is a tight grid. It's a short track, but when there's less than a tenth between so many drivers, especially three drivers, top 3 are separated by less than a tenth of a second. That is close. Let's see what Gazaman can do. He is invalid, so he'll be recharged and probably going again. Rageman. As Dexter goes quickest now, showing the pace in the Aston Martin, using that track evolution. As Rageman's up by a tenth and a half in the first sector. We'll stay on board with the Hassman throughout the entire lap. He's got a little bit of traffic coming up in front of him, and I'm sure he can get through it. Of course, Steve McLaren's parking on the apex. He's got to watch out not to block. There's a little bit of blocking there that might be, and he's had to back off. Yeah, the McLaren's not done Rageman any justice there on his lap. He's going to have to restart again, and that will probably go to the stewards ahead of the new season. Gazaman went for another lap. Didn't think he was quick enough to get himself up towards the top. Liam improves. He's put an extra lap in those tyres. Maybe it takes that one lap to get the tyres into the working window, and he improved his time by another 3/10 and beats Dexter by 2. It's getting close. Anybody on a lap? Sully looks like he's charging, and MCFC's just come out the pits, I believe. It doesn't look like he's using any battery, so he's definitely not on a flyer. Kingan, season 18 prospect champion, is on a flyer and wants to show his pace. He showed it early on, but he's being knocked down to 9th place now as everyone starts to find improvements. Liam gets himself up to 3rd. Alpine, I believe that is. Yeah, Alpine on the 2nd row. Dexter now falling down to 4th, setting his early pace, but there will be enough time to go again. We're on board with Kingan. Back in the Williams. Nice final corner. You can't run too far wide on the right hand side on the entry. A little bit bumpy over there now and can lose the rear. But DRS wide open. Doesn't take the short run up to the line. He tries to. Doesn't run all the way to the right hand side. Now Mason Jr. is knocked down to 8th. Kingan up to 7th. It's a very close grid. About 4/10 between the top 8. It's pretty close to me. This is going to be a competitive season. You can't call anything. You could not call a race winner, even if they slap it on pole. With the use of DRS and slipstream and strategy involved in the race, it's anyone's game. There could be collisions, there could be anything. Unless you're significantly faster every lap than everyone else, like significantly. This is a track where you've got to get out of that DRS zone instantly, really. If you're a leader, you've got to break that 1 second window to the car behind, and then that car behind will start forming a train, and then there'll be battles and you'll be able to pull away. But that's got to be done in the first 3 laps, and there's not got to be a safety car. If there is a safety car, maybe you box. I would box. The one stop's really easy. You'd be able to go on mediums if you start in the top 10 on soft tyres. At the moment, everyone except Speed Quinn is on the softs and will be on the softs for the start of this race. O'Sully needs to probably set a quicker time. He's on 4 lap old tyres. Unless it's raining, then I wouldn't really see why people would put mediums on. Unless it's just where you get a feel for the track. Five and a half minutes to go, and we'll get ourselves another pre-race interview, but this time it's from runner-up in Prospect here, now in points, Liam JHMC. Was in the Ferrari, now in the Alpine. As Sully boxes finally. Mason is going to be the first to cross the line. No, Dexter is. Dexter's first to cross the line on his next flyer. Whether he'll be able to go out again, I don't know whether he'll have enough tyres. Oh, he has a massive spin as Dexter is into the wall, and he's starting to reverse really quickly. Not getting the brakes on, trying to get off the track sensibly, but no damage to the wheels. Car, a little bit damaged on the front wing. No one else is on a lap. Dexter's in the wall. He will recover, and he will be able to go back to the pits, change front wing, and go one more time. But he's got to watch out for Mason, who's coming down this straight now. Dexter's got that damaged front wing. He's going to be very understeery. If these cars weren't understeery enough, having damage with this damage model is insane. Not even the smallest twinge of damage can be kept going in a race for you to be competitive. Yeah, so Dexter gets out of the way. Mason does slow down again, so he's probably going for another lap. Feels like it might have been held up, but he's going for another lap. Let's see what Trunders can do. He's catching up to these guys, but I think they will be clear by the time he gets to them. Probably both box. Mason probably goes again. We've got to keep an eye on it. And Nosy MCFC as well. He's on his outlap. O'Sully's just come out to start his outlap. Everyone else waiting. And Trunders doesn't punch it yet. He decides to leave it late to punch it out the final corner. And put EOS on hot lap. Maybe he's saving that a little bit up so he's got enough, but it's all about how much you use in the lap. It's just, once you cross the line, you might as well carry as much speed as you can into turn 1 and float it through to turn 2 and 3. DRS wide open down the essentially second DRS straight. First one's start finish line, second one is down towards turn 4. Nice tight apex. You can run wide, but you don't want to run wide too much, invalidate your lap time. It's a really tricky corner coming up next. Long right hander. Turn 6, 7, double right. Well, essentially a triple right into turn 8. Then you got the swooping left of turn 9, slow, angled, and now he heads towards the end of the second sector. Turn 11 is very tricky as well. The exit of turn 10, getting onto 11 can be difficult. Then there's turn 12, essentially the final braking zone, and 13, 14 and 15 are all kinks that you take flat out. Up to the line. I haven't been checking the delta, but up to the line, will he improve? And if so, how far up the grid? Only P8 for the Red Bull driver of Trunders, a 106.864. This grid is incredibly tight. The top 11 are separated by 5 tenths. 11 drivers within 5 tenths. It's insane. Some drivers are separated by thousands in positions. For example, Dexter and O'Sully are separated by 3 thousandths of a second. But not only that, his Trunders is only 16 thousandths of a second behind him. As we get to see our drivers finish their final laps. 146. Is he going to go again? Sully has to go again. He's got no time to come into the pits. May not even have fresh tyres. He's got to go for one more run. And he will do. He's recharged some battery, but will it be enough? A couple of long straights here that use a lot of overtake and hot lap. Rageman invalidated. Mason, let's see where the McLaren is. Back onto the second row as Quinn. Speed Quinn. He was confident coming into Brazil. We didn't talk about it earlier. It was mentioned it to me before the race. And he slapped 3 tenths on Liam in the final few minutes of qualifying. He's going to have to get out of the way. Who do we go on board with? Mason's going round to start another lap. Yellow flag in sector 2. I want to see how long's left in the session. Will these drivers get round? Checker flag is not out just yet, but Liam is improving. He's slightly down in the first sector, but can he improve a little bit more? Gazzaman improves. This will be his final lap. He's going to take corners slowly from them. Maybe it's a rev glitch, but that looks quite slow. That looks like he's finished and done his job. But so far, Williams are on the front row with a Red Bull. Liam, can he improve in the second sector? Mason's in the pits. Rageman, where are you on track? Middle sector. Liam's final corner. He's down in the second sector. He won't improve. Kingan's down as well. Dexter doesn't look like he's going to improve. He might do. Let's see what his time is through the second sector. That's enough to get you a few positions. That could get him up into the top 5. And if he finds even more time, he can get into the top 4. What can Liam do across the line? He gets P2 back, and he's 8 thousandths of a second. No, yeah, 8 thousandths of a second slower than Speed Quinn, who currently sits on provisional pole. Can Rageman do anything? He's down in the first sector, down in the second sector. It's all about that final corner. See if he goes up. Liam is up in the first sector. He managed to get an improvement and still keep going. Kingan is down. Dexter's crossed the line. He didn't manage to get his improvement in, and O'Sully finishes 3 thousandths behind him. A couple of drivers left on track. Liam and Liam. This is going to be fantastic. Liam versus Liam. Alpine versus AlphaTauri. Double A as well. So what can Liam do? Can he improve? He loved starting on the front row and towards the front, and maybe even those pole positions in prospect last season. Can he get himself anywhere near the front 2 rows? He's currently sat on the 3rd behind a Haas of Rageman. Up to the line, it is going to be an improvement, but how much? Where does he go? He goes onto the 2nd row and ahead of Gazzaman. He has slotted himself into 3rd, 16 thousandths ahead of Gazzaman in 4th. What a close grid. What a tantalising end. And he left it to the very end himself. Williams are on pole with Speed Quinn with a 106.3. 8 thousandths slower is Liam in 2nd in the AlphaTauri. You got Liam, it's a Liam 2-3 in the Alpine. So it's 3 different constructors. Well, it's actually 6 different constructors lock out the 3 front rows. Then it's got Williams Kingen ahead of Dexter, Sully, Trunders. MCFC didn't manage to improve, and Giggle is at the back. So there we have qualifying over here in Brazil for pre-season of season 19 of 100 points tier. Speed Quinn on pole position from Liam 1-3 TTV. Liam JHMC 12 and Gazaman line up on the second row. Mason Jr. in the McLaren on the third row with Rageman. Fourth row for Kingen and Dexter. Sully and Trunders round out your top 10, and on fresh tyres for the Grand Prix will be MCFC 2020 and Giggle. A little bit cloudy for the Grand Prix. Temperatures will probably be a little bit cooler, but the drivers have got to remember that they're going to have a lot of fuel on board, at least 36 laps of fuel, maybe under fuel the car. We know that we don't get the use of rich and lean. Party mode is gone. There's only standard fuel mixtures for the entire Grand Prix, except for under safety car you can put the car into lean. That might give you an indication to underfuel the car. But if there's no safety car, so harvesting fuel is very difficult. You might think short shifting, not that beneficial, short shifting anymore to saving fuel. Can be for traction, but saving fuel, not beneficial. Coasting into braking zones, that's where you're going to be needed to save fuel if you underfuel the car. Formation lap ahead of Brazil. 36 laps we are going to take part and watch and analyse and see who are going to be our contenders essentially. This could mean nothing compared to the championship that comes up. However, at the moment the drivers that are sitting in the top 5 or especially top 4 are drivers I want to watch. Ones to watch for the season. There's we type into the back 4. Mason in the McLaren could sneak a podium in there, probably mix it under the top drivers. Kingen we know has got pace, especially race pace is super clinical for the Williams driver as Mason gets disqualified. Did he hit Rageman? Rageman brakes, nearly causes a calamity under formation lap. You're not racing each other just yet. We've got ERT Jordan in the chat cheering on Dexter and Trunders. ERT teammate, I assume a very good friend of Trunders as well in that Red Bull. So in terms of tyre life, we've got the C4, C3, C2. I didn't put tyres on, I'm going to put them on now. So everyone except for Giggle is opting to choose the soft tyre to run first. Red Matt cheering on Quinn in the chat, love to see it. Great support all round for every driver on the grid that I get to see in the comments. We've got Colin supporting his dad. We've got ERT Jordan supporting Dexter. Thunders, Red Matt with Quinn. I've seen Gazaman being cheered on. Everyone's got fans. Where's my fans? Where's the commentators' fans? Praise me. don't praise me. As Rageman leaves the session. That's not good for Rageman. I remember seeing someone disconnect from a session from another Grand Prix in another league. This was yesterday. They disconnected, tried to rejoin, and the car went off the line, reversing, but didn't get penalised, I don't think, unless someone hit him. But I think it would ghost. But here we go then. 5 red lights are coming on. I wish I could see them. There we go. That's 4. That's 5. Speed Quinn on the left. Liam on my right. And it's lights out and away we go. Decent start from Liam, and it looks like it's a little bit better than Quinn. But Quinn has the line into turn 1. Gazaman is ahead of Liam as they go side by side through turn 1 and 2. Gazaman ahead of Liam. There's Kingdon's already started to make an excellent start with the ghosted Rageman getting involved as well. Mason dropping down the order, is down to 9th at the moment. Help will start for McLaren. There's a little bit of contact further back. Kingdom trying to make moves. Liam back up the inside, forces the Red Bull off wide. There's a spin of Kingdom in the back. Does he have damage on that front wing? But he is going to be in last place. Doesn't look like visually. If we had tasks, we would be able to analyse and see how much damage and see whether it would be worth pitting. But clean so far near the front. As Anozia and Rageman start going side by side. Is Rageman back in the car? I'm not too sure. He's ghosting at the moment, so that's going to be positions lost left, right and centre for Rageman. But it was a clean getaway from the Speed Quinn. He's starting to pull that gap, and hopefully the Delta sorts itself out and we can see the real life gaps between drivers. So it's Quinn from Liam. Liam, the other Liam, the Alpine Liam, holds on to 3rd from Gazzaman, who's right on his tail. But with that battling, they've fallen away from the top 2. They're out of that 1 second window. That 1 second window, I said, was incredibly key to either break from or get into. As Liam is ghosting, I'm not too sure. As Rageman has left again after trying to rejoin. But Liam's got some pace. But Gazzaman now leads, but he doesn't. There's a glitch in the lobby. It's Quinn, Liam. There you guys, across the first sector, they sort themselves out. A little bit of lag doesn't help with commentary and seeing where people are on track, but it is the top 4 as it stands. Dexter is in 5th place and looking to challenge the 2 drivers that are battling out for the final spot on the podium. Speed Quinn, however, managing his race so far. They're pulling away from the little train behind from 3rd. But what Quinn needs to do, he needs to know who he's racing, essentially. If you feel like a guy is incredibly quicker than you, or a lot quicker than you, let them go, but only let them go after DRS has been activated. Stay within DRS, harvest your energy for when you're ready to pounce. Is there an early pit stop? That's just the racing line. Well, that's always throwing me off. That's going to throw me off throughout the race. But Liam with the fastest lap. Liam 1-3 with the fastest lap, keeping in that tow and slipstream. What's the overtake situation like? Quinn's trying to use a little bit more to try and pull that gap. I think Liam 1-3 is going to stay in this and is going to be within that DRS. And they're going to just sit there and let Quinn wear his tyres out. Further behind, you've got Liam starting a train so he gets a... Excuse me. Between Gazzaman, Dexter and Chunders, we've got MCF fresh tyres, I believe, at the start. So he's made up a few positions along with Giggle. Biggest loser is going to be Rageman and Mason. Rageman, I don't think he's in the car still, as Mason looks to go around his outside, turn to the inside. Does he go for the inside? He does, as the AI breaks a little bit later. Mason up into the top 10, but he runs deep into the braking zone. That's a very difficult braking zone as well, as Gazzaman is our first victim of penalties, and he's done that at the final corner, interestingly. Whether we had a snap of oversteer ran wide, but that's 3 warnings and a penalty. But side by side towards turn 1, DRS for Gazzaman, no DRS for Liam. The other Liam, however, does have DRS, and will he mount a charge? He's not using overtake, he is not mounting a charge, but he's got DRS. He'll have the slipstream and the overspeed, but he's just sticking behind. Does Gazzaman go for a move on Dexter? He doesn't. Liam JH seems to have that straight line speed to keep the guys ahead and have the exit of turn 2 and 3 to cover off the drivers behind with the benefit of DRS. Can MCFC get into this fight? It's got a little bit of clear air in front and behind, with these guys starting to hold each other up. If they start going side by side, they start losing time. They're nearly 3 seconds back from the leaders. Quinn controlling the pace at the moment. Liam not getting too ahead of himself and wanting to go glory too early. Now he's using overtake. He's going for an overtake himself. And he turns it off. You're teasing me. Not teasing me. But will he go for it into turn 1? He's going to have to go to the outside. Quinn defends the inside. Laid on the brakes. Quinn goes deep. And he's going to have to round the outside. There's Liam for turn 3. Well, turn 2 outside. Inside for turn 3. Gets the position. And gets DRS for the run down to turn 4. Quinn low on overtake. Low on EOS. He's used it all to try and defend. What he's got to do now is keep his focus. Stay within that 1 second. It's very easy to stay within 1 second once you're in there. If you make a mistake and start losing that time, I would say it's not worth fighting just yet if I was Quinn. Battle further behind. Rage Trunders has had a spin. He was battling with Liam and Gazaman. Gazaman's got ahead of Liam. Whether there was contact further behind, there must have been. Dexter's now behind his in-race teammate of Giggle on those medium tyres. Any damage for Dexter, I'm not too sure. Almighty fight between the guys for the final spot on the podium. Gazaman gets the position ahead of Liam. It could have been 4 wide, down towards turn 4, and there could have been contact between Dexter and Trunders. They were behind the two, as Giggle tries to go around the outside of Sully with the help of DRS. No, he's not. That's Dexter going outside of Giggle with the help of DRS, and Dexter starting to make moves back up as we have our first pit stopper. As Trunders, Red Bull in early, 6 laps in, 30 to go. He can do medium soft if he wants to. He's going to have to hope for a safety car. There is a front wing change that's going to cost him another 4 or 5 seconds in the pits. Medium tyres are going to go on to at least lap 20. Maybe even 22, 24. 24 sounds about right. Yellow flag, 10-second time penalty for O'Sully. What has happened there? He's gone for a spin, causing that yellow flag. Dexter gets through for P6. I'm not too sure if MCFC was anywhere near him. I think he was clear. The Rageman now gets ahead of Mason as he started to struggle. He had amazing qualifying pace, did Mason, but he just can't seem to keep it on the track. I think he's got an overtake glitch. I think his overtake is stuck on and he can't turn it off, and that's really crucial on the exit of corners that require the most key traction. And with overtake stuck on, whether that is a known glitch where overtake can be left and stuck on, he's going to have to suffer with it, and which is why he's dropping down the order. And now he's essentially out of EOS for the rest of this lap. Rageman gets ahead of Sully into turn 1. I'm sure Sully will be able to get the benefit of the DRS and slipstream. Rageman is ghosting. Will this be easy for Sully? Will he go for the inside? He goes straight through them because I believe Rageman might have disconnected once again on the lobby. Sully now, after that spin, has got to claw back some time on the drivers ahead. He's lost 8 seconds to Giggle and another 1.5 to Dexter. Liam has pulled out of that 1 second window. That's what he needed to do to get Quinn out of saving EOS and go for another charge. What's Liam right on EOS? They're very similar, 10% between them, but Liam's got more and is more likely to pull away with the use of EOS on maybe on the exit of turn 3, exit of the final braking corner, turn 12, and Quinn's now going to start dropping back. Maybe his tyres are starting to drop off. If I take this off, do we get the graphic of tyres? We get to see a comparison. What I like about this game, the graphic for commentators is nice and key. If we didn't have the use of TAS, there's a what do you call it? I can't remember the word. There's a graphic, that's the word, graphic that comes up that tells us the tyre wear on the drivers that are battling, and that would probably be between Quinn and Liam. Field's starting to spread out. Only one pit stopper at the moment, that's Trunders, but it's gotten a bit cloudy. Are we scheduled for some rain? If so, when? Probably not enough time for Trunders to have stayed out. He decided to opt for mediums, but he did have wing damage and was sensible to pit. As Liam's taken another 5/10 out of Quinn in that lap alone. Liam's got the pace around Brazil. Quinn put it on pole, but currently sitting second after leading for the first 6 laps. DRS showing that he can be there to overtake. Mason now getting by the disconnected Rageman up to 9th. We've got to keep an eye on the key barrels. See when these guys are going to pit. Undercut, I would say, is very powerful when the crossover is right. Like, the softs last for a long while and can have enough pace to keep going for a decent life. 2 seconds now. The gap. It's interesting to see the strategic call for Giggle, considering he is on the mediums. As MCFC is out, he's lost it at the final braking zone, turn 12. He has retired, and his car is just stranded on the right hand side of the apex. It's off the line, but there will not be a safety car or a VSC for that incident. Not a good start for either Kingan or MCFC, both drivers that got promoted from Prospect Tier last season. As Sully speeds into the pit lane, and a lot of drivers choosing to pit, maybe thinking there'd been a safety car, as Quinn, Liam and Sully are in. This is Quinn's chance to get an undercut. Crucially, he does come out ahead of Giggle. It's not a very long pit lane, about 20 seconds, including the pit stop. And you can get about, I think it's about 2.6, 2.7 pit stop. Stationary, change all 4 tyres. The track looks greasy or shiny in that section of the track. It's not going to rain, otherwise these drivers would have stayed out. The soft tyres can do about 16 laps. So if there was rain due, they would have stayed out. But what Quinn's doing now is getting the undercut. Liam 1-3 is in the pits. This has got to be purple sector 2, maybe purple sector 3. Pushing everything to get the undercut on Liam. The gap was there. It was about 2 seconds. You can get a 2-second undercut with the life difference in the tyres. So Liam comes out of his pit box. Clean pit stop for Liam. He's closer to the bottom, but I think Quinn was closer in the Williams. I think Liam might hang on to this. He's going to be on the exit. Where's Quinn as he rounds turn 3? Liam's coming onto the pit straight, but Quinn will have that extra speed. Can he get back in that DRS? He does. The undercut has worked sufficiently enough for Quinn to get back in that DRS. Now he's got similar life tyres, and he's going to have the pace. He's got ERS. Well, he did have the ERS. He had 66, 68% when I last looked, but he was using that to get back into the DRS. Now if he can stay, as long as he can stay in this first DRS zone on the pit straight, it's very tantalising. He can start harvesting ERS. So he doesn't need to use it now, but he needs to keep an eye on that delta, get those braking points right, get those exits right. But it looks like Liam might just about snatch it. It is on the pit DRS straight. Brake late into this corner to try and get yourself in that 1 second. I think Liam's going to use the ERS on the exit. Probably did. Quinn is, but he's not in that 1 second window. He's not going to get DRS, but if he brakes late enough with the slipstream down towards turn 1, as Dexter now comes in for his scheduled first pit stop, Quinn might get into the DRS. There's the DRS detection line. He is in DRS now. He's going to get DRS, but he needs to harvest that overtake, harvest that ERS. Get into a position where you can get a clean exit out of turn 12 and keep yourself within that 1 second. He's got to manage this gap between himself and Liam 1-3, as the other Liam gets ahead of Giggle. Up to 4th as Mason exits the pits on hard tyres. That's an interesting strategy call, considering it is a 2-stop mandatory. Has he made his 2 stops? We're looking at the wrong thing. Penalties. Quite a few. Ooh, Sully with quite a few, but maybe some. No, 2 stops. Enjoy your race, Red Matt. I'm cheering you on from this comms box in Podium. Be sure to check it out as well if you've got drivers in that tier racing. Be sure to check it out. It will be on the YouTube live streamed for everyone to watch. Crucially, Quinn has gotten ahead of Liam. Liam's going slowly. What has happened to Liam? What has happened? He's going slowly. It doesn't look like he's got a puncture. Or does he have a puncture? He doesn't have a puncture. But he's going slowly. He's lost the lead. He's lost about 4 or 5 seconds. Has he had an incident with Quinn? Quinn got by into turn 1. Whether there was contact or not is still yet to be seen. Gazerman now sits net P2. But Liam is dropping up the pace. He's got wing damage. There was contact between Quinn and Liam going into turn 1. One might have been more aggressive than the other going into turn 1, but I saw the gap. Oh, and speed! Quinn spins into the wall. Commentator's curse. Does he come onto the track dangerously? He gets behind Gazerman, but he's going to be in the way of Liam 1-3, and Liam J. Both going to have to come into the pits. Are Quinn and Liam 1-3. There is a VSC deployed, which means no overtaking. And that's going to help Speed Quinn hold position as Liam JH becomes a victim of track limits and gets himself a 3-second time penalty. There's going to be some pit stoppers. Medium tyres to the end if you are going in the pits. I wouldn't recommend hards. Mediums are 22 laps. Yeah, you could do mediums. You could do 14 and 22 on the soft to medium stint anyway. So mediums to the end is required. Is required for those. Liam's on softs and Speed Quinn's gone hards. Both gone alternative strategies. Liam's gone quick. I don't think he'll get to the end. He's going to have to stretch those. He's got to hope for a safety car. Quinn's out the pits. And he's ahead of Liam, crucially, for the battle between these two. However, Liam's going to be the fastest man on track as Rageman gets a drive-through for speeding under VSC. I'm surprised a lot of other drivers didn't get one as Quinn comes out side by side with Rageman. And Rageman hangs on. There's contact between the two. And Speed Quinn's in the wall. More wing damage for the speed driver, Williams driver. Excuse me. And drama again in the Williams camp as Sully makes his final pit stop. This might be his third or fourth. It's his second. Onto medium tyres, he does go to the edge. Quinn now will have to box. He's got no wing to do an entire lap. He may even get lapped. Where's the leader? Gazman's coming down towards turn 4. Quinn's got to do a wing change and he's only coming towards the end of the second sector. Liam and Gazman both have track limit penalties. Could give Dexter an opportunity for the win. Giggle still needs to make 2 stops. I would recommend boxing now or the end of this lap so you can do 2 10-lap stints. Would be a good idea for fresh tyres for Giggle. As Mason gets by Rageman who had to serve his drive-through. Quinn finally into the pits after losing so much time. Lost about 20 seconds. Or even more, because I think Rageman lost time as well because he pit. So yeah, he's lost 30-40 seconds. Safety car really needed. Medium tyres should go on the car. They should be fresh mediums. And he should be able to go to the end as long as there's no more incidents. Sully's going to go through. Gazman's going to lap him. But what's got to be remembered from Quinn is that he can go to the end. Excuse me. Gazman, Liam, anyone who's lapped him can have to pit again. And now what Speed Quinn's got to do is keep his head, concentrate, and it's not over just yet. It is a safety car and he'll be back in this. He's going to have the freshest tyres of everyone other than Liam. Liam is not really a threat unless he can find mountains of time every lap on the guys ahead for the next 20 laps. It is possible. He is not that far behind, but everyone ahead will be going on soft tyres to the end, same as him. So strategy is going to favour him now, but in the end it's going to have to take advantage of the fresher tyres and the softer tyre compound to get back into a chance for even a podium, really. 17-18 seconds off P3, but P3 still yet to make 2 stops. Is he going to finally make his way into the pit box? His Giggle. As Quinn comes into the pits again. Did he spin? He's retired. That leaves 9 drivers. He retired in the pit, so there shouldn't be a safety car or a VSC. As Gazman sets a personal best first sector, he's starting to fly now. Realises that he hasn't really got much threat behind as Liam sets the pace. 108.1, showing the fastest tyres on track. No real battles. Everyone's separated by 5 seconds. We'll see if Dexter can catch Giggle. He should be able to. 12 lap fresher tyres. That gap's starting to come down. It was 2 seconds, now about 1.8, 1.7. Traction on the exit corner is going to be key. And the extra rubber really shows between the difference in tyre degradation on the two. Can Dexter get in DRS? Can he get an overtake done into turn 4? Would be realistically, would be the realistic plan. Hopefully Giggle knows that it is a 2-stop, and he does need to make 2 stops. He has only got 18 laps of the race to go, and those 2 sets of softs will do 9 laps easily. He's just really losing time staying out on these medium tyres, is Giggle. Is Dexter in DRS? He's not quite. He is going to get onto the back of him though with that superior tyre grip. But will he go for something audacious, or will he go for something sensible? Dexter, I'd say, for a man of sensible nature when it comes to overtaking and driving. And he really does get annoyed when other people aren't as sensible on track. He's in that 1 second window now, is Dexter. Sully managed to serve one of his 5 seconds, but I think he got that 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Maybe it wasn't his fault, but he will be in last place no matter what, unless Rage Man loses some time, quite a bit of time, 20 seconds of time, maybe have an extra pit stop. Mason, with that penalty, as Dexter gets up the inside of Giggle into turn 1. DRS helping him really well. Giggle not really got the tyre grip or the DRS to fight. He is going to get DRS down this straight. Yeah, I wouldn't fight it. He's just going to use him as a tow, essentially, gain time down towards turn 4. Use this basis, use this lap as an in lap. Get those 2 soft tyres on quickly. A little bit of a moment there from Giggle, showing the wear on those tyres through turn 6. Dexter now on a charge. He's got a little bit fresher tyres than the drivers ahead, but he only needs to find 3.4 seconds of Liam to get himself into the top 2. If the drivers ahead get more penalties, that really reels in Dexter's chance for the win. I wouldn't discount Liam. He's probably still on the faster tyres, as proven he's closing the gap. Liam has made contact. He's done a Max Verstappen essentially, but absolutely clouted the wall. Is he going to get in the way of the Red Bull of Trunders? Gets through. That's no front wing for Liam, and lucky to have all 4 wheels on the car. Unlucky number 13 with that race number for you, Liam. As you started near the front, you were leading the Grand Prix at one point, and you should be going on to mediums to the end with the new front wing. That puts him out of question for Grand Prix victory, as he's going to be miles off the pace. So the gap to the leader, 57 seconds, almost going to get lapped. Liam's coming out of the pit lane, and Gazzaman's coming through towards turn 1. However, Gazzaman's got to make another stop. Let's see who's our net race leader then, with pit stops. Net race leader is Liam, but with that 19-second gap to Mason, I don't think that he's going to get any higher than P6. And Mason's going to be on a lot quicker tyres at the end as well. He's going to be on softs. So it might just be P7 done and dusted for the Alpha Tauri of Liam. Does Giggle pit? Does Giggle know? Giggle, you need to know that it is mandatory 2-stop. Maybe you're waiting for a safety car, but so far it's not coming. You're going to have to pit twice, and it's got to be now. It should have been 6 laps ago, but it's all down to driver preference. Try seeing how long you can hold it out. Yeah, but he is starting to lose time, and Dexter's starting to lose time to Liam ahead, as Liam is trying to get by the ghost of Rage Man. Rage Man has DRS and gets through on hard tyres, fresher tyres compared to fresher tyres in terms of laps driven on them, the hards, but surely the mediums will still be quicker. Liam's going to get DRS, and hopefully this doesn't hinder him. With the ghost car being where you really want to be at braking, apex corners, you can't really see the apex because it goes to the car. This is really going to hinder Liam a little bit. DRS is going to help as Giggle now finally pits. He's on the soft tyres. Only way that's going to save your race now is if there's another safety car. Otherwise, you're going to might get a slap with a DSQ. But we'll see if he can be the fastest man on track. Same with Liam. Liam's on as fresh tyres, but he's going to go off for his first flyer on these fresh tyres. See what he can do in sector 1. He's not using any overtake. Maybe not trying to go quicker. 3.5 tenths down in the first sector. Probably just making sure these tyres last to the end. But decides to use overtake on the exit on the run down towards turn 6. So maybe just optimising the EOS usage throughout the lap and setting consistent pace on those mediums. That's really the most sensible way of driving. Setting consistent lap times rather than bursting all your... Yes, you may want fastest lap. Yellow flag sector 1, that's the Ferrari of Sully. He's spun once again on the exit of the S's. Exit turn 3. And the leaders are starting to come through that area. The leader's already gone through that area. It's Trunder's starting to come through that area along with Giggle behind. Giggle now going to start closing up on Trunder's. He's 2.5 tenths up on his best in the first sector and should be fastest man on track. No purple sector 1 though this time, but those tyres are going to feel incredibly grippy, quick, and should be gaining time hand over fist. Maybe not doing the mandatory 2-stop isn't a DSQ, but it could be a 30-second time penalty. But it's not going to be him in P5, that's for sure. Maybe Liam can get P6, because unless Giggle pits again, maybe he spins, maybe he gets damaged, maybe he's forced to pit. Hopefully being forced to pit helps him maintain track position, because he's going to start pulling away on these soft tyres as Trunders now pits. That is his second pit stop of the day for soft tyres. He's going to go to the end. 12 laps on them. Doable. But the tyres aren't going to be at their best at the end, and they're going to be the slowest at the end, as he's one of only a few drivers to make their final stops. He should come out ahead of Liam. Liam's only just crossing the pit entry, and Trunders is going through the pit complex of turn 1 and 2. Trunders is going to be on faster tyres as well. So, net gainers really. Giggles made the most positions along with Dexter, 8 and 5 respectively. Gazzaman up 3 positions from 4th to be leading this Grand Prix due to incidents up ahead. Liam's gained a position, but he lost out. He should be up ahead of Gazzaman because that's a position he's essentially lost. Dexter up 5, it's 3rd on the podium. Where he wants to be fighting, he says top 5, he's already proving it here. And Constructors is looking promising as well. Hopefully Jacko can hold form and follow suit and bring Aston Martin to glory. Very quick outlap from Trunders as Raceman gets a 10-second time penalty. He's gone off track, had a spin, down in 8th. And Mason back up to original qualifying position on P5 because Trunders made that extra stop. But Trunders will be clawing the gap down. Get this back on tyres to see what people's tyre lives are like compared to everyone else. Pit stops, I would predict for Gazzaman and Liam anytime soon. Dexter might want to do the same, maybe even go now, maybe get that undercut because it's worth it. The soft tyre to medium tyre difference with the undercut as well is going to be substantial. You're not going to gain the 7.5 seconds, but you're going to what's the word? Throw a spanner in the works with when the top 2 are going to pit. Liam's got 1 lap older tyres than Gazaman, so Liam's more likely to pit ahead of Gazaman. Gazaman might want to hold off the undercut as long as possible. With worn tyres, there's more chance of incidents, spinning, loss of grip, just losing time in general. Getting undercut is very powerful. Trunders, guessed by Mason. Mason's in the pits again. Is that his final stop? That might be his third. This is final stop, and it's medium tyres. He's not confident the softs could go to the end. Maybe he doesn't have any more softs, but soft tyres would have been the choice if I was racing to go on to the end. Yes, those mediums are very durable, but it's good to see he's got EOS as well, so maybe he was trying to use overtake there and just forgot he'd left it on. But he's got mediums to the end. All 3 of the leaders are in. Gazaman, Liam and Dexter. Dexter's not even in his pit box and Gazaman's already leaving. That shows how much of a lead he had. 12 seconds. There's the predicted gap. 13 maybe. What can Gazaman do on his outlap? None of them risking the undercut. None of them risking losing out to the undercut. Dexter is going to lose out to Giggle. Can we have Dexter's on board, please? There's Giggle. Where's Dexter? Can I have Dexter, please? Hello, there's Dexter. Going to be way behind Giggle, but Giggle does have to make another stop. Is on all the tyres. Trunders is pretty much out of it. He's not going to be closing down 16 seconds. And he's probably going to settle in to P5 with all the tyres to everyone ahead of him except for Giggle. So P4, maybe a strong double top 5 finish for Red Bull shows their predicted dominance coming into this season. Maybe you're going to see those two towards the top very often. But what can Liam now do on fresher tyres? He does have the same number of penalties as Gazaman. Dexter's now catching back up to Giggle to overtake him again. And he has lost time to both Liam and Gazaman. Liam flying. Liam on a charge. Liam going for everything and everything to prove himself that he can fight for wins. Fastest lap is on Liam's head with a 108.1. Anyone that's come close is Trunders on a 108.3. So that's when these soft tyres are going to start coming into their own. These drivers are now setting their fastest laps, essentially, if they want to push through. Both on very even EOS. A purple sector 2 for Liam. He's a second up on his best. His best is a 109.3. That would put him a 108.3, but he's still got the final corners to go. This is all straight. This is all fast flowing. This is all, if you want to use overtake, you can. What does he take fastest lap? He does. 108.1, and that's what, and he would be snatching bonus points if points were on offer today for fastest lap. Gazaman had no response. Let's have a little look at his lap time. I pressed the wrong button there. Let's have a look at his lap time on that lap. Was it his personal best? It was, but only an 8.4. He was 3/10 slower than Liam in that lap, and Dexter's pace is dropping off as well. It's now about 9 seconds as he tries to get by Giggle. Heading towards turn 4. He's going to have to stick behind him now all the way to the end of the lap. He doesn't want to, but he might have to if it was a sensible option. And I've already mentioned that he's a sensible person when it comes to overtakes. He can be aggressive when he needs to be, but if it's going to cost him positions, time, and if he gets damage as well, he's more likely to hold back and wait. As long as there's no one pressuring behind him. There isn't. Trunders is 13 seconds behind. Even though he is losing time, Dexter, with the dirty air behind Giggle, he's going to make this nice and easy. And the power a lot cleaner than Giggle as they run up towards turn 14. Liam goes even faster. He is hunting down Gazaman. He goes purple by another 3/10, maybe using a bit more ES. But here comes Dexter on the other Aston Martin of Giggle. Giggle to the outside. Dexter tries to launch it down the inside, but that door closes. Can he go for the exit onto the second DRS straight? Is Giggle going to battle this? He's out of ERS pretty much, but so is Dexter. Dexter's going to have the slipstream, the straight line speed, and DRS is going to have the inside as they go side by side through turn 4. Dexter gets the moves done, and he's going to get a podium out of this after losing time to the top 3. Giggle, can he stay within this battle, or will he lose out due to the fact that he's not hit that mandatory 2-stop? Battle for the lead isn't over. The issue is Liam's got to find half a second a lap. What did Gazaman do when Liam set that quick lap? Did Gazaman go quick? He did go quicker at 8.3, but that's substantially slower than what Liam did. He does an 8.4. What does Liam do this lap? He's 2/10 slower, but he is still quicker, but not by much. The gap's still 3.5. This is going to be our battle to the end. Unless there's a late spinner, late safety car. That could throw at anyone to winning this Grand Prix. Giga would be able to pit and probably not lose a position. Dexter would be back onto the lead group, and he doesn't have a penalty. Trunders would be back in it as well, but he would have guys ahead on fresher tyres. But I think there's a safety car coming. That gap's starting to settle down now, 3.5 seconds between Gazaman and Liam. If Gazaman were to get another penalty, as we get a yellow flag for Liam, he's had another spin at the exit of turn 4, probably got on the curb on the exit and maybe even touched the curb on the inside of turn 5, but he's got no front wing, and that chance for a top 5 is now completely out the window. He's got to do a slow lap with damage, maybe snatch fastest lap, but he's not going to be finishing high up. Maybe get ahead of Rageman as he's only coming down to turn 4, but that's going to be a slow pit stop, especially with... It's only a 3-second. If he had a 5-second, he'd have to serve it. But he will be going on soft tyres as Rageman gets himself a track limit penalty. Nothing changing at the front. And that's going to be at least one position lost from Liam with that pit stop. I think Rageman will be safe to not catch him. But he will be lapped. Liam's going to be lapped. Top 6 yet to be lapped. Mason Jr. is coming through turn 4 as the leader enters turn 3. And that's Rageman with the fastest lap. Stolen from Liam. 107.5. We're heading towards qualifying time territory. The cars are going to be light on fuel. We're going to be hitting fresh tyres with very little fuel on board. EOS is going to be high for Liam, so Liam could salvage a fastest lap out of this. Would be clinical to show he has the pace. But Liam's not done enough. He's going to have to now push to get half a second a lap. And round the short track, it's not that easy. On tyres that are the same age, it's going to have to go down to raw pace. And as shown in qualifying, raw pace, there's no real difference between drivers. All very similar. He's giving it everything, using all the EOS, using everything to try and close, grasp. So he gets another 10-second time penalty. Let's have a quick look at Gazaman's track limits to see where he got his penalties. Ooh. So we got a warning, and then he got 2 warnings to go with that penalty on lap 3, so that's his penalty, and he's got 2 more warnings here. One might be for contact, but we'll look in the incidents. Look for Gazaman there. Warning, exceeded track limits. Warning, exceeded track limits. And warning, exceeded track limits, and there's his penalty. Did he exceed track limits twice over? Where is Gazaman? There he is, exceeding track limits. There's 1. And Gazaman now exceeded track limits. So he's 1 warning away from throwing this race away. Sully is out of the Grand Prix and he's on the pit straight. Whether he retired in the pits or go on board with Mason, he's going to be... Oh, it's on the main straight. No, he is in the pits. He's retired in the pits. It's a yellow flag for no reason. Unless Liam binned it again. But he doesn't seem to be. He seems to be flying. He wants his fastest lap. Can he get into the 1:60s? Can he slap a qualifying time here in Brazil in race pace? Race trim. He's de-raced on EOS, but he does take the fastest lap with a 1:07.1. Very close to the 1:06s, and might even be quicker than some qualifying times already. But their gap's now under 3 seconds. But Liam is not within that window to be applying pressure. Gazzaman's probably going to be looking at that. Oh, it's fine as long as I don't get another warning, and Liam doesn't catch me as quickly. There's only 2 laps to go. It's just keeping it on the track. Gazzaman's got to keep it on the track, and he'll keep the win. Maybe we could have hoped for a few more laps, but we've been sat here for 35, and no offence, but with these gaps being so large, the race couldn't come to an end quick enough, because we can see that Gazzaman starting his final lap of the pre-season test race here in One Hub, season 19 points tier. It's Red Bull from Alpine, from Aston Martin, that are going to set your podium. As long as Gazzaman can keep it clean, he will be on for victory. Liam, I don't think he needs to worry about getting P2. Liam, in terms of warnings, he got his 3 there. He's got 1. He's got 2 warnings. He's got a warning in hand. If it was close enough, maybe he could have used that warning. Maybe try and pressure Gazzaman, but getting that extra warning puts pressure on yourself not to run wide at any corner. It seems like Liam's got the pace at the end and is slowly starting to catch. Maybe Gazzaman might be saving fuel. Might be out of fuel. We haven't got a test to look how much fuel he's got left. But there's no yellow box where you can see the little petrol station canister box near the throttle indicator. There it is. It's flashing red. So he would have had enough fuel. But Gazzaman is going to win the pre-season race around Brazil here in points tier, showing the pace and putting himself as the face of points tier so far. Liam bringing that pace from prospect tier, second best this time out, but here's a podium. Dexter recovering, and my driver of the day up to the podium in the Aston Martin. Giggle didn't do the 2 mandatory stop, so we'll probably get disqualified or have a 30-second time penalty. More likely a disqualification, because the 30-second time penalty won't really do anything, so he should have essentially pitted. Trunders will come home in 5th P4 after penalties if it was a legit race. Last driver on track is Mason Jr. 54 on those mediums. Top 6 didn't get lapped. Liam did get lapped but finished 7th with fastest lap. Rage Man a lap down to everyone after disconnecting quite a lot. Maybe needs to fix that internet. Coming for the new season next week. For I believe it's the Bahrain Grand Prix. So I see a Brit, a Scot and a Dane on the podium here in Brazil. Let the champagne fly for what seemed to be a cloudy Brazilian Grand Prix, but there are results, quite a few track limit penalties on the board, but not enough to be worried about in terms of positioning. So Gazzaman took victory ahead of Liam, and Dexter are your top 3. Giggle in P4, but not making that mandatory 2-stop will hurt him, and he's got to make sure he knows to take a 2-stop in the coming season, otherwise it's not going to go for results. Trunders is P5 in that second Red Bull, so Red Bull looking like a threat for the constructors at the moment. Mason, with all those ups and downs at the start, gets back up to P6, would be P5, Liam 3, Liam 1-3 and the AlphaTauri in 7th, after leading the Grand Prix, down in 7th, finishing a lap down. Rageban and Sully, Rageban your final finisher, Sully, Quinn, MCFC and Kingen all retiring from the Grand Prix. It's been a hectic one, but it calmed down a bit, and we got the results definitely Gazzaman was looking for, and especially his fans. Complaining about curbs, curbs are bad. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in for this pre-season race. Be sure to head over to twitch.tv/OneHub Racing to check out the Precision Tier race that just went live 13 minutes ago. Your commentators are NOX Storm and Jamie Met 92. They'll be taking you through Precision Tier, and there'll be one more race to go this evening, and that'll be on YouTube, I believe. So we do start round 1 in Australia. I will not be here to commentate, but I'm sure Risky will take lead, may have someone outstanding take lead, but I will not be available for the first race. But the next 9 rounds, 10 round season once again, we've got Australia, Bahrain, Hungary, France, Singapore, Belgium, Britain, Austria, Circuit of Americas, and to round it out, if it's in the game, it will be Imola to finalise the season here in OneHub. I've been your commentator. Be sure to check out our sponsors, Next Gen and 3M Sim Racing. Keep an eye on OneHub's Twitter, join Discord, all that funny jazz, and see you all next week, or for myself the week after. For you guys, go check out Twitch and follow the Precision Race. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. See you later.